everybody, welcome back to my Daily Dose with Tim. Today is Season 2, Episode 7. I just kind of thought I would save some trees these days because even though I know I'm very old school, really loving the pen and paper and markers on flip chart kind of situation, I'm just gonna look to see how much I can conserve where I can, just, do my part a little bit. However, this week we're talking about basically why choosing real estate as an investment vehicle. And this is something that I've really spent a lot of time emphasizing on, especially for those of you who have been following me since season 1. You understand that is the fact that at the end of the day, I keep saying everything that we're doing here really loops around the concept of financial education. We are just choosing one of the, in my personal opinion, best asset classes to actually help you build your monthly cash flow as well as the long-term wealth that you are looking for. And so today we're going to go into part 2, which is leverage. Yesterday we talked about control, and there was actually a lot of stuff that I squeezed in there, and I noticed that some of you guys were asking, oh my god, okay, you actually probably should have named part 1, why not buy condos? Because it's something that I've been talking about for a long time. And honestly though, it's not just something that I've been preaching, is the fact that any true educated professional real estate investor would tell you the same thing. Do not buy condos, especially do not buy pre-sale condos. And if you really want to know why, go back to watch part 1 once again. And the other thing is, hey, you know what? When you get to the point where you can actually build your own condo buildings and apartment buildings, that is when you sell condos and be the builder yourself. However, today we're going to talk about part 2 of this whole equation. Now, before I forget, honestly though, I kept reminding myself, because yesterday I wanted to bring this up as well, and I just kept forgetting about it. You know who you are. Actually, I've had a few people, at first I just thought it was this crazy weird phenomenon that happened Wednesday last week, because we actually launched Season 2, Episode 1. We're at Episode 7, so 6 episodes ago. And the first episode, I went through the 8 tips that I have for you in order for you to achieve financial freedom. Because honestly, that's what this entire season really is going to be about, is the mini steps. And we're going to go through hard strategies, soft strategies, mindsets, relationship with money, and some general concept that's really important for everybody to understand, especially if you're going to go into the real estate industry and leveraging it to build your wealth and financial freedom with, okay? And so I got not just one. At first it was just one, and then I got 2, 3, I got 3 so far messages from some of you guys, and you basically showed me that you actually printed out the 8 tips that I share with you, and you put it on your dream board, you put it on your office desk. And one of you was so cute, you actually printed it out and laminated it, and you said that this is basically gonna go into your wallet and your purse to remind you every single day. So that's honestly though beyond what I could have imagined. So thank you for sharing that with me. I am so happy that you're getting something out of this, and that's really ultimately what I want, because I do see a lot of people get into trouble with real estate the same way that I did early on. And that's also why I decided to get myself educated, to really learn about what investing truly is about, and then choosing the vehicle for me, and that is real estate. Now, that being said, today we're going to talk about leverage. And honestly though, when it comes to leverage, I just want to let you guys know, because it is such a huge concept to really cover, and most of the times if you're learning how to be an investor, it does come down to the numbers. And today we're not going to go over every single number in detail. However, I just want to quickly really compare real estate as a vehicle, and when it comes to the ability to leverage, to all the other mainstream investment opportunities that the general population is exposed to. And so by that, I really mean, for example, savings accounts and stocks and RSPs and mutual funds. For those of you who do not live in Canada, you're from the States, our RSPs kind of like your 401k. And honestly, right now, I do not recall what it's called. Basically, it's a registered retirement savings plan for us, which means in addition to government pension, this is the money that you're setting aside. It's just that right now, depending on the country that you're in, I don't know the rule or the tax laws for your retirement savings accounts or the likes very, very well. However, for us Canadians, most of us will put money towards the RSP savings, RSPs accounts, simply because of the fact that the government actually provides some initial tax benefits. However, it's tax deferred, not that you don't have to ever pay taxes on it. So let's just get that discussed, put it out there, and out of the way for now. Today we're going to talk about leverage, and I do have to go into the next page to show you this. Let's just put it this way, because I understand in my circle of friends, most of the times, if people are not really going into real estate, a lot of them are actually going to stocks. And so what that really means, let's just put it this way. If you had $100,000, let's say it's either in savings or maybe some sort of cash that you maybe inherited or somebody else gave it to you, maybe the bank of love, I don't know, whatever the case may be, you have $100,000 in cash in your hands. As of now, I'm just going to use Canadian rules to explain this. However, the concept honestly is very universal. So $100,000 cash, let's just say, if you're going into the stock market, okay, $100,000 will allow you to buy $100,000 worth of stocks. Whereas, usually, if you go into real estate or the property business, in this country right now, if you want to own a property that is not your principal residence, meaning you're not going to be living in it, and most of the times when people do that, it's what we call an income property, a secondary property, or rental property, depending on which term you actually do prefer. And so, the majority of the Canadian mortgage lenders will actually accept 20% down payment or deposit, depending on which country you are from and the word that you're most familiar with. 20% deposit. And I understand there's a lot of countries out there, if you want to buy a rental property, it's actually at least 50% down payment or a deposit to get into a deal. And so we're quite lucky here in Canada, to be really honest. So what that means is 20% deposit, and you can end up getting 80% loan to value mortgage. Okay? So let's just put it this way. Earlier we said that if you had $100,000 and you want to buy $100,000 worth of stocks, then you would have to put that whole $100,000 in there. Okay? However, in this particular case, let's just say that depending on the market that you're in, once again, let's focus on the principle first. If a property that you're looking to buy, which is going to be a rental property, is $100,000, okay? Apples to apples, it's also $100,000 worth of an asset. However, because you are able to leverage, you actually only need to put in $20,000. So wait a minute, if you only need to put in $20,000, okay, and you got $100,000 in cash, why not buy a few more? So we're gonna omit one thing here right now first. I'm just gonna be very clear, because in most countries right now, developing countries, a lot of the lending rules are very similar. What that really ultimately means is when it comes to getting access to mortgage lending, most lenders will require you to have all three criteria intact. And that means income, credit, and down payment. So that means your income level for debt servicing ability. That means your credit score and credit history needs to be at a certain level, and the amount of money that you put aside. So the down payment really is the way they see as your skin in the game. So what that means is if you buy something for $100,000 or worth $100,000, you are allowed to put down $20,000 and they will back the rest. And so if we do this 5 times, then that means you actually get to use up your, I probably should have drawn it differently. That means you actually get to end up with 5 properties under your belt. Okay? So now a lot of the people, what they typically don't focus on when they're investing, because either it's a time constraint or more often than not, it's a knowledge constraint. It's a knowledge level constraint. And so what that means is they basically just park the money into an asset class and then wait for the value to increase. And we've already spoken about that. However, again, today is all about leverage. Okay? Not here to criticize any other asset classes because, again, I am not an expert in those areas. I'm just going to speak to the differences today between real estate versus the stocks. Okay? So let's just say that the market is doing really well and it goes up by 10%. Now, your stock portfolio in this case is now worth $110,000, which means you have a net gain of $10,000. And let's look at this side right here. Let's just say that apples to apples, the real estate market goes up by 10%. Well, the entire value of your portfolio, once you've done purchasing it, is actually $500,000 worth of value. It's just that you got away with leveraging mortgage, and so that you only needed to put down $20,000 each. So all of a sudden, it is now worth $550,000, which means you've actually gained a net profit of $50,000. So I think everybody can actually see that. Let me see if I can move this down a little bit for you. There we go. And so the simple question now is, well, would you like to make $10,000 or would you like to make $50,000? Given that the market is going up by the same 10%. And so that is honestly the simple power of leverage and why a lot of people really, really like real estate as their main investment vehicle when they're choosing to put their money somewhere. And in case you didn't hear about this, 90% of the world's millionaires and billionaires either started in real estate or park their money in real estate. And it's not really difficult to understand why. And so a quick example for you guys also is, does everybody, we're on Facebook Live right now, does everybody know who Mark Zuckerberg is? Yes, the founder and CEO of Facebook. And remember, when Facebook went public, he became a billionaire. Billionaire with a B, like a boy. Not a millionaire, billionaire. Overnight. And when he was buying his principal residence in Palo Alto, California, one of the hottest markets in all of America, if not in the world as well, is that I believe he bought his house for $6 million. He could have paid for that cash. That would have been chunk change for him. However, guess what? This is all documented. Go and look. He actually got a mortgage as well. Why? Because this is somebody who's incredibly intelligent, who understands business and the power of leverage. And that's why even though he could have plotted down cash, he actually decided to buy it with a down payment plus mortgage. And so here, just to quickly show you once again why we actually really enjoy choosing real estate as our main investment vehicle and as our preferred asset class as well. So yesterday we talked about control. Today we talk about leverage. We're going to keep this train going as well. And just on that note, I want to make sure that in case you missed episode 5 this season, we're going to start to do a little bit more actual work as well, because really the goal for all of you guys at the end of the season is that you actually found that it might seem like we're jumping here and there a little bit. However, we are going to slowly bring it back as well. The dots will eventually connect. However, last Friday, so episode 5, I actually gave you some homework to do, and every single Friday we're gonna keep doing that a little bit, and there is a point to that. However, we're building up to it. Just want to remind you to make sure that you actually do your homework so you get the best out of this whole season as well. So that being said, thank you so much for joining me again. If you do have any questions or comments, make sure you message me. And if you think that everything's making sense, give it a like and give it a share as well. I really, really appreciate all of your support so far, and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody. Live well.